Good evening, Cheeseheads. 3 points in the bag. We've beaten Everton. Happy days. It's the instant reaction show. My name's John. I'm your host. This is going to be a very quick fire one tonight because Gibbo needs to get back in the house. And so do I. Otherwise, we'll get in trouble with the wives. So we're going to fire through this one. Gibbo, how are you, mate?
Mate, buzzing. Really good win. Real solid professional performance, mate. Good performances. And, yeah, looking forward to getting into it, mate.
And joining me, he made his debut on Wednesday. First time I've met him. Jack, how's it going over in the States?
Hey, man, it's great here. Beautiful day, sunshine outside. Spurs win. Everyone looked really solid today. I'm really thrilled. That's probably one of the best performances I've seen all year. I'm thrilled. Absolutely thrilled.
Well, I mean, that does say a bit of a low bar about some of our performances.
Yeah, that's fair, but still, it was good.
I think first half was down to Everton's tactics, and fair play to Lampard. He knew absolutely we played better against a 4, so he went to a 5 and he kept it very compact and tight. Mm-hmm. But we'll come on to that. So starting lineups, here we go. Gibbo, you said you got this this is what you predicted.
Got it spot on the socials, mate. Don't get a lot right, but that was bang on today. Yeah, I just obviously thought he'd bring Doherty in and thought he'd bring Perisic back basically and Davis in for Langley because we've got a few games coming up. So, yeah, pretty much what I thought, mate. I didn't think he'd go 3-5-2, but as we'll get into later, I think that helped us in the end. But, yeah, pretty straightforward guess, really.
Jack, were you? Was that what you were expecting? Pretty much.
This is what I had jotted down for myself. I didn't have any doubt. I would have been surprised if anything other than that had come out. No question.
Yeah. Okay. I will take that down. So it was. You could tell straight away, couldn't you? It was all Everton were just. It was like a training session almost. Gibbo. Everton were just keeping in their formation.
They pretty much what I call come to stink the joint out, aren't they? They come to stink the joint out. Like, if they just keep defending, because Tarkowski and Cody will defend all day, and Coleman, really, they'll put it in. And it was just sort of like us going at them, trying to break them down early. But to be fair to Everton, they sort of weathered the storm, didn't they? They grew in a little bit of confidence, got themselves a couple of chances, which they should have done better on. We sort of have that 10, 15 minutes where we really go at it, then the game levels out, and then that's when they sort of got those chances. But, Richarlison could have had... Come on to Richarlison in a bit, but poor header from him. But yeah, and we looked sharp, we looked good for that early parts of the game. We were on the front foot.
Yeah, and Jack Kane had a header from the left-sided cross, which he just didn't get enough on, which I think could have easily been a goal another day.
Yeah, but overall, I really felt like I was really pleased with the way they started. Because we're prone to be slow, and I thought we really were sharp. In fact, there was a stat that flashed up on my broadcast where I think in the first 10, 12 minutes, we had 10 touches inside the Everton box. And that's unusual. I mean, that's one of the issues that we've seen is they haven't been getting the touches in the box, but to have 10 in the first 10 or 15 minutes just told me that they were on the front foot driving forward. And Perisic was the most dangerous player on the field in the first 10, 15 minutes. And I was really pleased with the way they started. We gave up a couple of chances, like you said. That one was just miscommunication in the center circle that gave that chance. The other one was a hopeful ball over the top to Gray that he should have done better with, no question. But fortunately, he got harassed the whole way down by Bentancur, who had another solid game.
Yeah. I mean, the Damari Gray one, Gibbo. Did you see that one, or did you nipped out at that point?
I just nipped out for the Damari Gray one, mate. Just took the daughter around the corner to work.
Probably a good thing. So it was ball down the right-hand side, and he just outstripped Bentancur. He just, he doesn't lack confidence, Damari Gray. And he knew he could beat him, and he just cut across him. And he was a bit unlucky because the ball was bouncing. And so when he just went to hit it, it just flew over the bar, which was lucky for us.
He's a strange player, Damari Gray, isn't he? Because I watch him and I think there's a player in there. He's not like Sessegnon, but you think there's a player in there. He's got a trick or two. He's got a bit of pace, but he just never sort of kicks on. Never sort of kicks on or anything, does he?
Yeah, no, it's a good point. What's your thoughts on Jack?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen him a long time, and I think his best role is one of those change of pace players you bring off the bench. If you're relying on him in your best 11 game in and game out, he's just not consistent enough. He doesn't have enough of a well-rounded game, but he's I think a great player if he's your second option off the bench to change the game a little bit.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Okay, Sam. What? That performance was a Conte wet dream. Great response. Kasamwa, I apologise if I've butchered that. A great response to the final 10 minutes of mayhem against Eintracht. Absolutely, yeah. And the way they managed, once we gone 1-up, the way they managed the game just kept the ball, didn't we, for long periods at a time.
I was just saying, I said to Jack, it's just sort of like so controlled, but like some of us, there's certain, we're just not used to seeing that, are we? And you can get a bit, like some of us just get a bit frustrated because we're not really pushing on the front foot. But all it is just complete control in managing a game. And, it's not something Spurs of recent years have done lots of, has it? And I'm getting used to it under Conte. But like when you sort of like, because I get drawing the game, I sort of get up and stuff like that. But once the game finishes, after you've seen that, you just think, never in doubt, really. They had 2 chances. One of them we sort of really give them. The first one, like you said about Demorga, I didn't see, but apart from that, really, they never looked like scoring.
It was interesting with Gray. One of the things I noticed is it must have been instruction from Conte because Davies was not letting Damari have any space. He got called 2 early fouls by chasing him high up the pitch and getting right into the back of him and knocking him down. And I saw that he would follow him well into the Everton half. And that seemed to be clearly something that was designed because, there's a lot of times I'm thinking, why are you getting dragged so far up? But clearly that was one of the game plans, is not let him have time on the ball, turn and face up.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of those sorts of things where we're working on managing and controlling the game and the flow like that.
Yeah. I thought the refs seemed to give Everton. The refs seem to give Everton a lot of really soft fouls. There's always pushing and shoving when there's contact, and some will be given, but he seems to give every time one of our players went near their player, they just went down. Again, clever tactic by Everton. Yeah. But the ref just fell for it, and it was poor, I thought.
I didn't think he was very good. Podcast on tyranny. This whole show on tyranny, that those calls are mystifying to me, some of those.
Yeah. I want to bring this one up, Gibbo, because you weren't the only one in our group that weren't overly happy with Doherty in the first half. I thought he was average at best first half.
Yeah, I think he is. Well, like I keep saying, we'll come on to this because Doherty ended up having a decent game, but in the first half, when the tempo was, we weren't really on the front foot and we weren't pushing up, and the change hadn't been made, which I think benefited us. He didn't offer anything, and when the way Spurs play those wide wing backs, those wide men, the wing backs, we need them to offer more, and he just didn't offer enough. More often than not, the ball comes into him, and he either looks to just knock it, give a real simple pass back, which sometimes you have to because obviously the ball's not there that you want to play. But just too often, it just seemed to be too safe. Didn't want to do anything and just didn't offer anything. But as the game progressed, he did get better. But the first half, he was a bit, safe and didn't really contribute to anything.
Yeah, I mean, Jack, really, the whole game changed for us, didn't it? With that injury to Richarlison and the fact Basuma came on, and what most Spurs fans have been calling for this 3-man midfield, haven't we, for a long, long time. Yeah. We saw it against Leicester. I know Leicester were trying to get the game back at that point, but the difference in these games when we've played 3 in midfield has been quite astonishing in some instances. We just took control of the game completely from that moment, didn't we? Yes,
and even the broadcasters on NBC could pick up the difference. And we were saying in the green room, when you've got that base and Basuma can come over and cover for Doherty, who was getting way downfield in the second half. As you said, much better second half, and he was offering a lot. Basuma was coming over and covering that position and knocking the ball out of play, letting everyone reset, and it just changes the whole dynamic. Everyone seems to be more calm, more assured. There's an extra passing option in midfield. You can control the ball. And then when we were up 1-0 and we went to the 3-5-2, I was like, okay, now you got Dominic Calvert-Lewin coming on. Let's not give them the ball. Let's not sit in our box and take crosses in, because that's how you lose this game. You got to keep.
And McNeil can cross the ball, can't he, Jack? McNeil's not a great player, but he can whip a ball in.
Yes.
And Calvert-Lewin is decent in the air.
I did get frustrated when there was one moment McNeil had the ball on the left-hand side, and we just didn't close him down, and he just put the ball in. Fortunately, it went over Calvert-Lewin's head, and Perisic just tested it back to Hugo, didn't he? But that was literally like the goal they scored. He scored there under Jose, that first game of the season when Højbjerg made his debut.
Yep.
Yeah. It's asking for trouble. You've got to stop. Sometimes you've got to stop the cross at source.
There was a ball laid in from that. I don't know who Garner is. I've literally never even heard
Garner,
of him.
yeah.
Put in a beautiful ball into the 6 that was trouble.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Kane
came out
cleared it, didn't he? Oh no, that
that was
wasn't
the biggest
it?
fears. Don't sit back and let them whip the ball in, because that's always going to be trouble. So I'm really happy with the way that played out. As you say, controlled the play really, really well.
Just on the Basuma, sorry, John, but on the Basuma coming on, it wasn't just the fact that Basuma come on and did it was that was more like the Basuma that we've been wanting to see, because that is the best game he's had for Spurs. I know he's not played many, but that version of Basuma is the one we've been waiting for. And the beauty, like you said, he drops in, and not only does it allow Bentancur and Højbjerg to play further up the field, it allows the wing backs as well. And that is when Doherty come into his own a bit more, because that is the type of wing back he is. I don't think he's going to beat someone for pace in his own half and drive forward. He needs to be higher up the pitch, because he's not. Neither of those wing backs are blessed with blistering pace. So we need to be getting them higher up the pitch. And it's not a slight on Richarlison, because I believe Richarlison's playing out of position. That does not suit him out there. We are not getting out of Richarlison the most of what he can offer us playing in that position. You know, obviously Kulusevski being injured it can't be helped, but Richarlison is more benefit either playing straight down the middle or on the left instead of Kane or Son if we need to rest him, or coming on in that position. We're just not getting what we should be getting out of him over there. It's stifling his game, and that's not on him. That's obviously just where he's being asked to play.
I agree. I mean, I don't think the combination with Doherty and Richie works, because they both want to occupy the same space. And on the left, it's okay with Perisic, because he actually does like to get down deep to the line and cross back, staying wide. So it's okay. So if Richarlison's on the left and he's coming inside, and I think he would work better with Perisic. But on the right, it just doesn't seem. It's not. You're right. It's not his position. It's not his best use. And the whole game changes in terms of just the flow and feel of it once we go to the 3-5-2.
Is this comment coming up? What's going on here? There we go. The boss is watching. Got to be careful. Keep your language.
I'm going to be calling out the caller towards the end. I'm going to be calling him out.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, let's do it now. There's no run sheet in this show. Let's go for it. Go on.
Højbjerg, mate. Another goal. Every game he plays, every week he's getting stronger, and every game I'm proving to the caller I was right, and he was wrong.
Having Basuma there meant him and Bentancur could bomb on.
Yeah,
because Basuma played it, didn't do anything fancy. I mean, I think he's capable of more we've seen from Basuma.
Second goal was all about the fact that
simple.
Second goal was all about the fact that Basuma can sit there, Kane drops in, and we've got people running past him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he did have that.
You have to come in, caller. You have to come and talk to us.
You did
calling out the caller.
Flying chest pass, though. You remember he felt a twist and just a chest pass to the line.
I have to admit, I did think he'd blown it, because it sort of bounced. It didn't get out his feet, and then it was lucky because it did deflect off. It won't.
Cultured, John. Cultured, that was, mate.
Cultured.
Got it.
He meant to deflect it off Iwobi's foot.
Probably.
Yeah, it was definitely.
No, got a bit of luck, but obviously, to a good position. I mean, we hadn't even spoke about the penalty yet. We've gone over the fact that we started the second half.
We can do it how we like. This is not a match review. This is an instant reaction.
Flying by the seat of our pants.
You know, Ron's made a good point here. First time Everton lost by more than one goal all season. They've only conceded 9 goals. They've scored 8.
Yeah, 9 coming into the game. Yeah, 9 coming in.
So to score 2, they came out to Burnley us effectively. It really reminded me of the Burnley game, actually. I thought first half, and the fact that we won that with a penalty, and then this one with a penalty. But I think it was coming. Doherty had that half volley just before, and he absolutely smashed through. And there was a couple other crosses that he almost got to, and that's Doherty's game. It's about movement, isn't it? He's not going to race past 3 players.
Just getting him higher up the pitch.
Yeah. If he starts in his own half and he makes that run, it's that diagonal run towards the corner of the box that he really finds that space in and does. And I thought he was brilliant. Not quite as good as he was before he got hurt, but you saw flashes of that player again today. And you saw the hug that he got from Conte. I thought that I really think he had a great game, and that is going to change. That's going to change the dynamic for us because, as we said so many times, everything's got to go down the left when Emerson's in, because they give him the ball out there, and he's not suited for the role. We know we don't talk about him, but it's just so much different when you can go down both flanks.
Yeah, I'm not his biggest fan, Jack, but like I think it was Paul Muir who said it in a pod, or he might have just said it in our group. But like obviously Emerson being suspended for the 3 games, Doherty played against Brighton. And he needs that confidence in that run of games because he's not played for so long. So, like for me, should have played in the week, and he's played now. He should play against Man United, not because I rate him or I think he's loads better than Emerson or anything like that. But he needs to be playing. He needs to get the games in him now because he's going to have some game time. And if we're going to play him away at Man U, it looks like Richarlison's going to be out. Let's go 3-5-2.
Yeah.
I just want to bring up this comment. Bassoon's great. Recycling the ball. This is one of these terminologies that's come in the last couple of years, isn't it? All these different words that we now use.
Means winning it back, you dinosaur.
All right, love. We've only used this terminology, haven't we, in the general media for the last couple of years. I guess it was probably been used in football for years.
Low blocks.
Oh, yeah. That's another one, isn't it? Just defending in the old days.
Yeah.
There you go. Callers agreed. Good finish by Pete. I thought he messed it up. See, he thought the same as me.
Of course he did. I bet he was waiting for him to mess it up.
I have to say, when Bentancur was going down the right, originally I thought he was going to play it for Sonny.
I did too.
And then obviously it was a great pick out by Bentancur to see that Højbjerg was in so much space. It was just on another. If the ball hadn't just bounced it, he probably could have taken it and hit it first time. It just bounced up quite high on it, didn't it? Maybe it was a little bit behind.
Yeah, Højbjerg and Bentancur have really stepped it up the last few weeks. They've been immense. Champions League, Premier League. They've really stepped it up, haven't they? And like that protection of Basuma, hopefully we'll be able to kick them off. But we got what happens when Kulusevski comes back? We got good options now.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what? I'd like Kane to have a rest be able to have a rest at some point, because he's going to play every game for England.
Yep.
Unless England win the first 2 group games, he might get the 3rd game off. Otherwise, he'll play every game for England and every game for Spurs before the World Cup and after the World Cup.
He won't be rested, mate. Forest in the cup. And I don't think it is what it is.
The only other way is if we get 3 or 4-0 up after an hour against someone, the way we did against Everton back in March.
Mm-hmm.
But Richarlison if he's blown his calf, that could be 3-4 weeks, couldn't it?
Could be, yeah. And obviously, we don't know about Kulusevski. He had a scan today, I believe, or yesterday.
Yeah.
So he could be out for a little while. Doc is all about movement. Play well tonight. Yeah, absolutely. Do you like Doc, Jack?
Well, I mean, I definitely like him. I think he's good for the team. I think he really blends well with what we've got. I think he has good link-up play. He always played better with Kulusevski, and so I would like to see them back on the pitch together. But I think, again, would be great if he were the second option and we had a first choice real right wing back, and then he's your rotation player. It would be great. The fact that we've got to possibly play him as our best option is not ideal, but I do think that he can do what he's asked to do in the system, and in a 3-5-2, we all agree. And we know we've got the cover for him. He can stay higher up the pitch, but even defensively, in the Brighton game, he had a potentially game saving tackle.
Yeah.
He had a couple nice defensive plays. There was one down in the corner that he won the ball well and shielded it out. I mean, I thought he had a really well-rounded game, and it was good to see him come back to it. Ideally, again, he's not our first choice, but he is for now, I think.
I'm just going to respond to caller's comment. I understand what it is. I'm just saying it's the terminology that's only recent come into the public domain in the last couple of years. That's all I'm saying. There's a lot of terminology that's come into the domain that we didn't used to get.
What about old Shergar, though? What about old Shergar giving it some luck?
Yeah, I mean, Newcastle, obviously. Looking at the picture of Staveley, Richarlison's been playing as a right winger effectively, so I'm not really surprised he hasn't scored goals. He is a central striker or a left. Sometimes at Everton he played as almost a number 10 behind Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah.
So,
but his injuries just helped us today.
We haven't been creating a lot of chances for him, though. It's not like he's missed loads, is it? Really, he had that one chance which, had that gone in just for half time, I think would have probably been given as a foul. Because
it's just not his position, is it, John? It's just not, it's not his position. I said on our WhatsApp group, if you're playing that 3-4-3 and this is another guy, but Lucas is probably better as the right winger over Richarlison. Probably be more effective at doing what he needs to do. I'm not having a go at Richarlison at all, because Richarlison works hard. He's a decent player, but I don't think we've yet to see him in the position that is best for him.
Yeah, I mean, talking to Shag, obviously got Newcastle next week, and I would much rather have a midfield three against Newcastle, who play a 4-3-3 generally. Although news is that St. Maximin's out, which is good news
for us. Yeah,
for us. Yeah, definitely. Kerry saying Romero was good. I thought Romero. I don't know how he got away with that yellow today. He does walk a tightrope at times, doesn't he, Jack?
Yeah, he does. And I've started to know something about Romero. Again, world class. I'm not world class, but he's a Cadillac of a defender, of course. But I've noticed he's not fantastic in the air.
No.
And that is a little concerning, I guess. But I'll take everything else and lose the ability in the air. But he times things poorly. I mean, it's not that he doesn't get there because he's not that tall. He often mistimes things, so actually causes more trouble sometime off of his headers. But yeah, no, he was solid, and he was getting forward. And in fact, I was screaming for him to shoot. He got forward one time when he picked out Kane, and Kane tried to get it into the left side, at the top of the box. It got deflected right into Pickford's hands. But I was screaming for him to shoot. I wanted to let it fly. But no, he wants to get forward. He's an active player, and I again, what rotation do we have with them? We're going to bring Sanchez in, so you want him to play every single game. But I thought he had a good all-around game, just a little bit trouble in the air.
So, Gibbo, England's number one, spilled a powder puff left-footed shot by Doherty, which I think you or I could have picked up after we'd had 10 pints.
Absolutely.
That was poor, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he's been good for them, hasn't he? Recently, pretty decent, I think. But yeah, he's had a stinker there. And I knew the worst thing he did was the minute he took Kane, he took Kane down. You knew it was a penalty. His body language literally said, "I fucked up here."
He put his head down.
It? Just lay there on the floor, and Zach's like, "They're going to give it. They're going to be." I said that he told him that he's took him out. Just lay there. Then I thought, he's got a decent record of penalties, Pickford. So I was thinking he'll probably know where Kane's going, but he weren't stopping that, mate. Said to Zach, if he'd have put his hands on that, it broke his wrist.
As the commentator mentioned, obviously Dean Henderson saved one against England. Yeah. He's obviously taken a lot against England. He did beat the Arsenal keeper. He would have taken them.
Yeah.
England duty as well. So
I think
obviously missed one the other day.
With Kane's penalties, when he puts them in that top left-hand corner, doesn't matter if they're unstoppable. But obviously, he can go a bit higher than that, and it was a sort of just above a decent height. But when he gets that, when he goes that way, and he gets the right power behind it, mate, you went picking, you went stopping them.
Here he comes.
Oh no!
Here he comes. Yeah, I mean, Kane obviously he blew the one over the bar the other night. He? So you've always got that in the back of your mind. And
we're going to go outside later, me and Zach. We're hoping to see it come past like a comet, mate. We've been waiting. I think it's due past our gaff tonight about 10 o'clock. Yeah.
It's gone around the orbit twice.
Yeah.
But I did wonder if Pickford would stand still, half wondering whether he'd, blast it down the middle. But fair play to Kane. He just went, I'm going to lash it as hard as I can into that corner. And Pickford got close to it, but it was hit so well, Jack, wasn't it? There was no chance.
Yeah, I mean, penalties. I've played football for 46 plus years, still play, and I'm dreadful in the attack. You do not want me with the ball in attack. I'm a good defender, but one thing I can do is penalty kicks because it's really it's mental and it's placement. And if you do your job, it's not savable. So you're 12 yards away. It's not savable. It's in your head. Unless the goalkeeper leaves early and doesn't get called for it, even if Pickford gets a hand on it, it's going into the side net with that placement and that speed.
Yeah,
you can't do anything about that. And that's what makes him so good is he just doesn't make many errors. And as I said on the reaction show last time, is you could tell how fatigued Harry was, and when you put a ball over the bar like that, it's fatigue. It's because you pull up and you launch it. So
yeah, great penalty.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, and then we just controlled the ball, didn't we, for ages? We just passed it round, and I think there's a change in attitude of the fans that we accept that we pass the ball back at sometimes. In the first half, there was a couple of moments where Doherty passed the ball back where the fans wanted urgency.
Yeah.
As soon as you get the goal, the fans understand. Let's keep the ball.
Yes.
This is what I said. This is what I said to you before, didn't I, Jack? There's like, and I'm one of them. When we're trying to do that, I'm like, oh, this is going to cost. This is going to. Well, whilst the game's on, I admit, I'm like, oh, we're doing this. We got to press. We got to get that second goal. If we don't, they're like, yeah, whip one in. They'll just get a lucky goal. It's 1-1. Then they'll sit back again. But after the game, you sort of realise and go back through it, and you sort of rationalise, and you're like, we're just controlling the game, really. And like I said, people like myself, I'm not really used to seeing that, not being comfortable with that. But that's literally what we did. And then you look after, and you're like, they had those 2 chances early on. Second half, we just literally scored the goal, just took hold of the game, waited for our chances. And Perisic went through, didn't he, that time? And you think if he was a couple of years younger, he'd have probably just added that extra yard and took it a bit earlier. Tried to take it in. We had a couple of moments like that. We just wait for those openings now because we're confident about managing it at the back.
One of them, I thought he knocked the ball out, and I think they didn't show the replay of it close up, but then VAR must have looked at it. I thought they gave a corner. Yeah, I was convinced that he actually kicked it out because the guy took him out.
You talking about Tarkowski's tackle?
Yeah, possibly. I think it was 2, wasn't it? I think Tarkowski did him twice. I think one of them was really clean, but another one, obviously, it's hard.
It was close. Yeah, it was definitely close. Yeah, it was close.
And he's one Perisic, isn't he? That when we're managing that game, that is what he does. He doesn't try and get on the front foot, beat his man as often as he could. He's happy to get the ball into his feet and just lay someone in and just keep passing it about. He's more than happy to do that. He's comfortable with that. Like that when he chested that ball back to Lloris. You're like,
yeah. He's just experienced. Oh, here he is.
Yeah,
here he is.
Like that when he chested that ball back to Lloris.
Oh, you're like, there's echo in the corner. He's just. You got YouTube on? Okay. I think he's just class, but we've got to get him in those final third, the same way Doherty, we need to get him in the final third.
Yeah, that should be better.
There we go. Thank you very much. How are you, sir?
I was enjoying the show so much. I had it on when I came in the studio. I forgot to turn it off. How amateur is that? Amateur hour is here.
Schoolboy error.
Absolute schoolboy error. Gibbo, you called me out. Here I am.
Called out the corner, mate.
Yeah.
So are you on this Hotspur thing, mate? Are you like that yet, or are you still sort of like, nah, he's a liability, waving his hands about, waving him about when he put that one in the top corner, weren't he?
I don't think I've ever called him a liability. Let's be fair.
Wow. Didn't give him the respect.
You want me to put some respect on his name?
Let's put some respect on his name.
You're going to come over like Will Smith and slap me. Yeah.
No, too far.
Look, Hotspur is Hotspur. He's a limited footballer. Does the basics very well. That's what he is. And this was no different. He's functional. He's better in a 3, isn't he? He's much, much, much better in a 3 because he can play forward. He can play forward. We've seen it for Denmark, and he's done it a little bit for us. But yeah, put him in a 3. I'm a lot more happy with him in a 2. But then I'm a lot more happy in general if we play 3 in midfield, as I think most people are.
Yeah.
So he took the goal well because I thought he completely messed it up when his first touch was shit, and then he sort of dithered with it. But then he managed to dig out a lovely little clip into the top corner.
Cool composure that is, mate.
Yeah,
it's cool composure.
Well, one of the things about Pierre, though, I mean, you think back to this cross that he sent to Son in the Frankfurt game. He is not flustered in the box. He is patient. He doesn't hurry himself. In both those instances, he took his time. He knew he had it, and he got a job done. So, I mean, I think if he has more time, in the opponent's box, I think that's going to be a plus for us.
It's interesting you say that, Jack, because I remember a couple of years ago he was flustered quite a lot if he got in the box, probably because we were under Jose and they weren't actually told to do anything.
As well, actually,
he's only about 25, isn't he?
Yeah,
he looks about 40, but he's about 25, a bit like me.
I've swapped jeans.
Serious question. Who are you guys picking for man of the match? Because I thought it was a real difficult to pick a man of the match. I thought there was quite a few decent performances.
Workman-like team performance. Doherty, just to piss you off.
Højbjerg's 27.
Jack's going to pick him as well, I think.
Well, I actually, if I were actually having a vote, I would pick him. But I joked with you guys earlier. I'll say it for you, callers, that you're here. I thought of picking Rishi for getting hurt and coming off so he could go into a 3-5-2.
In some ways, it's Basuma just not even for doing anything, but just being on the pitch and allowing the rest of the team to play.
Yes,
Basuma played well when he came on. And what I would say is I thought Kane was easily man of the match.
He got given man of the match, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah, he's a different class to everyone else on the pitch.
Yeah.
Did you see him when he got the ball and Bentancur ran on to cross it? He sort of, I didn't think he was going to get there, but he puts in that extra yard, gets there, and then he's like saying to Bentancur, "Go on then, get up," and he just lays him in. He's sort of like driving him on.
He's got to turn a pace a little.
Yeah.
Every yard, he's all right. He's a bit like me, really.
But
Perisic showed his pace as well, didn't he?
His fitness.
Where he went through. I know I heard you talking about it before, but he showed that he's no slouch because he skinned him, didn't he? The defender.
He just doesn't waste. He doesn't waste his energy or his time, does he? Because I watched it at some point. I think he's just literally getting the ball, laying it off, just sort of like conserving himself. And then at the end, he had that run, sort of went through, and you just thought, take it a yard early and curl it in the bottom corner. But
I've got to say, everything was shit though, weren't they?
Well, they are shit.
They came to not get beaten 5-0.
Oh,
like you said it. You said it last night. They are Wolves.
Yeah,
they are Wolves, or Burnley. They played like that.
Try and nick a goal, and
they should have scored. They should have scored twice.
I mean, twice is a bit. You'd expect to take one out of those two, maybe.
They
were hard. They weren't as easy chances. The second one, he had to go low. I mean, he just talk about composure. He needed to go low and across the keeper, and Lloris wouldn't have stood a chance. But
Sissoko-esque that was.
It was Sissoko-esque. But the first one was a hard chance. I don't think the XG on that would be very high, John. To be honest,
I thought he was a good player. To be fair,
they should have scored one. But those two chances are literally the only two chances they had in the whole game. And they didn't come to do anything. They literally put men behind the ball. And it was, if we can scrap a goal out, from a corner or a fast break, then great. But, I mean, you can only beat what's put in front of you, right? And they've been doing that quite successfully. So it's good that we broke them down. But I think at half-time we were all saying how frustrating it is because playing against a team that does that, we do tend to struggle, don't we? And it was only really the switch in formation that made the difference.
I think they came out. There was a bit of an oomph in the second half. You could tell that, and it was quite quickly. Richarlison got injured, so you never quite know if Conte's 3-4-3 would have worked second half. But it definitely the 3-5-2 was what won us the game effectively. That and Pickford having a mare because he made two mistakes, didn't he? He should have done far better with the original shot. A bit like Hugo. The other game was that against Saka or against Arsenal, wasn't it? It was very similar to that. Yeah. Although Saka's shot was harder.
Yeah.
But he should have held that.
He should have pushed it. He should have pushed it out of the danger zone. If you can't smother it, like it was really poor piece of goalkeeping. I mean, literally, there's one place you don't want to palm it out, and that's like half a meter in front of you. It's like.
I think he just fumbled it, though. I mean, that's the thing, though. If you put pressure, you get a lot of touches in the box, right? You get pressure in on players like they make mistakes. That will happen. If you get enough pressure, enough chances, things like that will occur. And that's why it's important to do that. And that's why it gets frustrating when you see people not taking, going into the box, making the runs, because that's how things happen.
He's prone to a brain fart, isn't he, Pickford?
Absolutely.
Now and then.
Absolutely. But, most top keepers are, though, to be fair, Gibbo. They all do it. It's, we highlight Lloris, but I don't think he's
there's very few who are immaculate.
I mean, Alisson does it seemingly every game. He's got a mistake in him, and he's supposed to be the best keeper in the world. So I don't think it's exclusive to Pickford. I think
no, but on the whole,
when you're a keeper, every single thing that you do wrong gets picked up on, doesn't it?
Correct.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at the BBC, and the vote by fans has got Basuma as man of the match.
Really?
Yeah.
I think we're so desperate to see Basuma come in, aren't we? A lot of Spurs fans.
Yeah. Give him the man of the match. That'll make him pick him again.
Well, or that's just the vote for a 3-5-2.
Maybe.
I think he's got to start against United. I think we've got to go 3-5-2
yeah.
against United.
I think we have.
We might have to if Richie's calf is tight.
Well, I would anyway. If he's struggling, go 3-5-2, and if he can come on for Kane or Son, if the game's tight or if we're winning or something, what a great sub! And if Kulusevski can get on the bench,
dominating the midfield and having 3 players in there who are ball winners is going to be absolutely key against United, because you think they can really hurt you. They've got quality in there. Like, we take the piss out of United all the time, but we know what Eriksen can do and will do if you give him time on the ball. I think if you've got Basuma, Højbjerg, and obviously Bentancur, who I thought was pretty poor today, actually.
Bentancur.
Yeah, I didn't think
really.
I didn't think he was giving the ball away a lot.
A few sloppy passes, but I did say earlier, Cora, I think they've really kicked us on the last few weeks when they've been up for and maybe he wasn't as good as he was.
We're a better team with him in the team.
Yeah,
but I don't think he had a great game.
Just
tonight.
a little bit slower on the ball, maybe.
My point was your rotation options, Ollie, skip. Now that's more of the same. So I'm happy with that, because I want to see 3 of those guys in there against United. I'm not even bothered which 3, because I think they'll all do the same job. You've got to pressurise that United midfield, because they're also in their 30s. So they don't run that hard.
Yeah.
If you give them time, they'll punish you. We've got to really break their midfield and sort of overwhelm it. And too often with the 3-4-3, we surrender the midfield, don't we?
So you don't want to do that at Old Trafford. But here's a question. Obviously, you can't tell till you've watched the game, because that might change your opinion. But do we think a point at Old Trafford will be a good point for us, just to not lose, keep our momentum of not losing going? Or obviously, we want to go there and feel that we can win, obviously. But do you think if we come away from there with a point, happy with that?
Given they beat Arsenal a few weeks ago, they have been better.
Yeah.
They obviously have had a couple of tonkings this year, but they have been better. Yeah. Point wouldn't be horrendous. Now, if we were 3-0 up and blew it, then obviously I'd be gutted.
Of course,
if you get 1-0 up.
It's different after the game, but I think they'll probably be better against. They might be one of those teams that are better against. Yeah, they'll be up for it. The crowd will be a bit more up for it under the lights. And we've had some better results there over decent years. But last year we went there and we lost. And it's the sort of game where you think, shouldn't have lost that game.
Shouldn't have lost either one of them.
They'll probably drag out Ronaldo and he'll do us, but let's hope not.
Well, you've got to pick him up from corners if you don't want him to do it.
Or let him shoot, or give him a free, or give him a free shot on target.
Lazy. We were terribly fucking lazy, like when he played us last time.
Excuse me, we don't man mark.
It was frustrating.
We zonal mark, and that's the problem. When you let someone like Ronaldo, who can jump that,
but it's not just that, John. I mean, how much time did he have on the ball to hit that rocket? No one closed him down. Yeah. So you've got to. This is
Basuma would be on him if we play 3. Basuma will be there.
Harry Press, don't pick up any stupid yellow cards within the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, because you'll get sent off there.
Yeah,
they'll.
United, our record at Old Trafford is incredibly poor. I think
not as poor as Anfield.
No, true, but
or the bridge, but it's not great.
We talked them a couple of years ago, didn't we, under Jose? But aside from that, it's not been a happy hunting ground. Would I take a draw?
We had a couple of wins with Eriksen scoring, didn't we, Caller, up there? We
won there 4 times in the Premier League, I think.
Yeah.
Which certainly better recently than we have been historically. But would I take a point? Absolutely, because United are going to be top 6, I think, by the end of the season. I think that,
a win would be a brilliant result.
I know HG's loathing of Ten Hag is, but I don't think he's doing a bad job currently.
Yeah.
No, they got players who can hurt us, definitely.
What else we got? Kerry's desperate to win. As her sister and nephew support Manchester United.
Let's face it, being all about the same age here, right?
Yeah.
We've all got lots of friends who are Man United fans, because when I was at school, I was the only Spurs fan. I think me and one other guy, Andrew Ginn, lovely guy, very active on Spurs community. But there was me and him, and everyone was a Man United fan or an Arsenal fan. Chelsea didn't exist; they weren't founded then. So it was literally, Man United, Man United, Man United. So I think everyone feels a bit like that. To be fair, Kerry.
What's it like for you, Jack? Because obviously, round me, it's all Villa, mostly Villa, Liverpool, Man United. you know, I don't actually mind Man United, apart from when we play them and want to beat them. I don't really got a problem with them. I quite admired what they done back in the day when I was younger. We were sort of out, but, you know, they had a lot of England players and that, so I wasn't that bothered. What's it like, sort of where you are? What do you get a lot of? Man City fans, Chelsea fans?
It's everything. I mean, a lot of United fans, because, you know, like I can tell you, when I was living, you know, playing soccer as a young kid here, right, in the 70s, there's only one team I'd ever heard of from England, and that was United. Actually, two, Newcastle and United, the only clubs I'd even heard of. So there's a lot of people that are just fans because they used to ship out the tapes, like the video cassettes and stuff. You could watch their games and things. And so there's a lot of fans. But around here, it's a big mix. You got a lot of Chelsea fans because you got Pulisic, you know, and you got now a lot of Leeds fans. So we're very much, you know, go with the breeze around here because people are finding clubs over the last 10 years. But we've got a pretty big Spurs. The North Carolina Spurs group is pretty big, actually. We got a good support group here in my town of Raleigh. That's really quite lively. But yeah, United's pretty common. Arsenal, Liverpool. At my office, I've got one Liverpool and I got one Arsenal fan, and that's it. The rest of them aren't really all that into the game. So.
Well, we've got 55 people watching, only 23 likes. Please do click the like button. It does help us out, gets the show out there with the algorithm and all that technical stuff that Caller tells us about, and stops him ranting at us about getting likes. And he's not even he's concentrating. Look, he's doing his Sudoku, isn't he?
Yeah.
Checking his lottery numbers, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. So Monday night, Gibbo's going to be back. Becky will be hosting, and we've got HG and Craig. And then Wednesday, Gibbo, you're doing a post-match instant reaction again. You've got HG.
Me and HG are on, and James is keeping me abreast of his movements. See if he can come on.
So he'll probably
drop on for that one, I tell you.
Yeah. And Mr. Diver will be there telling us how he enjoyed the game today, no doubt.
But if we can if anybody wants to drop in, you know, it'll be like this, short and sweet, straight to the point. So if we can keep doing these and getting people watching and getting people involved, might be a bit easier midweek because obviously Saturday night people are, you know, watching Casualty and stuff like this, aren't they? In the Generation game or whatever's on telly now.
What you're saying, Gibbo, is please come and watch me on Wednesday night. I really want the viewing figures to be good.
Yeah. Just get on here and hit like.
And then next Friday, I can't remember who's on next Friday now. I haven't sorted Friday out yet.
You got Jack, haven't you?
You're on. Flat Cap Jack will be back again as well.
Yeah.
And I fly to London on Thursday. Come in. Well, we're arriving Friday morning for the Newcastle game, so I can.
Oh yes, I've got you're doing it, aren't you, Jack?
You got me on the Friday show as well.
Oh, you've got two American Jacks. Caller, that'll be fun.
That is a winning combination. That is.
Expanding the cheese room, brilliant.
Yeah,
it's good. America is my favourite country in the world.
Yeah.
So.
Said that to Jack, you know. Get some get some Americans involved in the live chat. People from their supporters club. Brilliant stuff.
I can bring Americans if you want them.
Bring them in.
All right. I look forward to it. I'm hoping to meet some of you folks live this weekend. This coming weekend.
You'll be at the Newcastle game, Caller.
Sadly not. No, sadly I've parted with my ticket for next weekend. Family plans again. My next game is actually Sporting Lisbon at home, I think it is. And then I'm at the Liverpool game. And then...
I'd love to go to the Liverpool.
Leeds. And then Leeds after that.
Leeds is the last game. Which hopefully I'll get a ticket for on the
That is the game, Liverpool. That is the game I want to win. That is the game I want to win.
Oh, yeah. Get that. Yeah.
Well,
Dubai's up there, but Dubai's just an upstart. America was the first love. It's fine.
She knows you so well. So, on that note, I think I'm going to say thank you very much, Jack, for coming again.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Gibbo, thanks for being here.
Yep. Love coming. I like the old review shows, mate. I haven't got to think too hard about them. Just say what comes into my mind. But nice to be on with Jack again. And obviously called the caller out, and he's come out to defend himself. So fair play to him. Good show.
Glad you finished that sentence.
Yeah.
Thanks for popping in, caller.
Well, you know, when called out by Gibbo chatting shit, about PEH. That's I'm always going to come out and have all guns blazing because I've got nothing against Højbjerg. I want every Spurs player to do well, but I do see him for what he is, upgradable, limited.
Thanks, Gary.
We're gonna be I think it's could be quite a regular segment calling out the caller.
By the way, I've got this beer, right?
That's a good idea.
So you've heard of beer Moretti, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen Carlsberg's latest premium offering? It's
No,
called
what's it
Angelo
called?
Peretti.
For goodness sake.
What?
It sounds like an Aldi sort of thing, doesn't it?
Angelo
That's what I
Peretti.
thought he was going to say. I thought he was going to say, I've been down Lidl.
Aldi or Lidl, yeah.
It's made
Aldi
by
supermarket.
Carlsberg, Marston's Carlsberg. There you go.
Oh, right, okay. Well, there you go. That's our advert for this evening.
It's not as good as Moretti. Don't bother with it. Would be my advice. But
Sorry. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you
Come on, you
Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.